Hey guys, it's Seth and Paul for Everything Money Channel. In this episode, you're not going to believe this. Over the past year, E-Trade has not had more than 40 or 50,000 signups per month. In the month of March, they had 260,000 new newbies trying to invest. Paul talks about what these numbers mean, these incredible people signing up and investing, the stock market going up when the economy is going down. Paul analyzes all of this on the Everything Money Channel right now.
By the way, that's not even including Robinhood.
That was my close, Paul. That was my close. And you just swinging with a by the way. Oh, by the way. Right now on the Everything Money Podcast. Let's do it, baby. Paul, something's brewing out there. It's not good. Now, everyone else thinks it's good, but you don't.
Don't you want to ask our viewers to do something?
I do. Look at Paul's ridiculous outfit in this podcast.
I was working out this morning, okay?
Good for you.
I did cardio, and I'm trying to...
Please like and subscribe that button right there. Like that, hammer smash that like button real quick, but you're going to want to like it. I'm going to tell you later in this video to like it even more after Paul tells you that we should all be scared shitless about what's going on in the world.
I did not say that.
I'm kidding. Tell us what is in front of us and what is going on out there.
So the market, when COVID hit, February 19th, the market hit a peak of 33.82 or 33.83, something like that at the closing.
This is S&P.
Sorry. Yeah. In the next month, we had the fastest bear market in history, went down like 35%. I think we stopped at 2,200 or so. And then March 20th, we shot right back up again.
And let me be clear, for a year and a half and longer, you've been...
4 years, 5 years.
You've been asserting that the S&P should have a I
think the S&P is worth less than half what it's at today.
Yeah, like 1,500. You're looking for a target number.
I'm looking at
1,500,
13 to 1,500.
Oh, okay, 13 to 1,500.
I believe it could go. It all depends on how long it takes, but either way.
Keep going.
So the market surged, right? We went from 2,200 back up to 3,250. The fastest bull market, like in history. It was from the fastest bear market to the fastest bull.
Right.
There were theories out there because COVID shut down all sports. So there were theories out there that people started to, instead of gambling on sports, they were doing stocks. And that's what caused stocks to go higher. Well, finally, we have some interesting information. The Wall Street Journal showed us yesterday or 2 days ago, net new E-Trade retail accounts monthly. Guys, what this doesn't tell you, this month of March was the best, not only month they've ever had, it was better than any of their best years in history in 1 month.
1 month.
1 month, they got 260,000 net new accounts, which is better than any month, any year they had in history.
So for the past month and a half, we've been asking
last 4 months, we've been like, what the hell's going on?
What the hell is going on out there with the stock market? Is it no one's working, no one has money?
Unemployment's high, yet
the stock market's climbing.
Well, we've been talking about the whole, unemployment benefits being better than most people make.
Yes.
We've had that issue.
So any graph that looks like this, Paul, is astounding.
Yes.
Whether we're talking about number of puppies or anything, this is crazy.
Leading up to this, look, positive, flat, positive, negative, slightly positive, negative. And then boom, even the previous 2 months are probably better than they've ever had in history. So you look at this and say, this is exactly what we have to be concerned about, guys. When you look back at previous bubbles, whether it's in stocks, real estate, any other asset, when you start to get worried is when the average person is the one trading. I have a group chat with my buddies, and they all talk about stocks, but there's no analysis whatsoever done in it. It's just, I bought the stock here, it went up to here. Look at Tesla. Tesla went from a low of 360 in March to now it's 1,600 some.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Amazon. Amazon is now at 30, I don't even know what Amazon is at today, 2,950, 3,000, 3,100. These are the things that to be concerned about. You guys as average citizens don't understand that, but at the same time, think about your business and what you're in.
Average in terms of your investing knowledge?
Correct.
Like me, my friends?
Correct. Look at what business you're in. If every single person who had an iPhone was a wedding photographer, how would that affect your business? By the way, it does affect your business. That's exactly what it is. People think they're all photographers.
Right.
They undercut you. They do things cheaper. People get pissed, that kind of thing. Yeah. Same thing happens here in investing. Guys like me who want to buy legitimate companies at good multiples get hurt because all of these people are buying for no apparent reason whatsoever besides, I like the company, I've seen it go up a ton, I don't want to miss out. I was in Michigan this past weekend with some friends, and they were talking about stocks. And they said, well, don't you get worried about missing out? And I go, no, I really don't. Like, I have I see Tesla skyrocket because I have an understanding of what a good investment is. I don't worry about those things. Everybody else has what's called FOMO, fear of missing out. And a lot of really good value investors have started to recently come out and say this market is driven by FOMO. It's driven by people's fear of missing out. I don't want to lose out on Tesla going from 450 to 1500 and from 1500 to 10,000. There are people out there who really believe Tesla's going to 10,000, correct?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. And I look at it saying there's no reason for them to go to 10,000 though. I think they're worth negative money right now. So why are they going to go? Could it go to 10,000? Absolutely. Yeah. But I have no problem missing out on that train. I have no problem whatsoever. These people have a major problem.
Well, I think, Paul, I call it a problem about missing out, but I have told this to you in the past. I mean, when I get a full year return of 9%, and then I might be able to make 9% in an afternoon betting on Tesla.
That's a great point.
It's really a game of patience versus...
I'm in the game of singles and doubles. You're in the game. Everybody else here is in the game of grand slams on a daily basis. Yeah. When has that ever worked out for people? In anything in life. When has it ever worked out that you can get grand slams every day?
Well, we always want it to work out.
Well, of course we do. And we're always different. Yeah, I'm different, though. That's what everybody...
True.
By the way, even professional investors, they all think... I think I'm different. I think I know I can beat the market. The question is over how long that to beat the market. So we're all in that sort of like idea and mentality. It's a human thing. This is the main problem we have, and this is why people should be worried. When you have this happen, all it takes is a little downturn, and then these same people who are excited about a stock going to 2,000 very quickly are scared. Why is it going to 1,500? I got to sell now and wait for the next big thing. And then that perpetuates more selling. And then these people get more bet. I have seen this so many times, and I've read about this. So I've already seen it twice happen. This is the third, I should say, I've already seen it twice happen, finish poorly. This is the third time it's going to end poorly. How poorly? When? I have no idea. But it ended poorly. If you go look at history, over the last 150 years of stock market history, this happens every single time. This is nothing different. This happens. It's just a different story. In 1928, it was margin. People thought stocks couldn't go down. They borrowed money from the banks.
Yes.
Hey, I'm just going to buy, period. I'm borrowing at 5 or 6%.
They were borrowing money from the banks to buy stocks.
Yep.
And when the stocks fell and they went to the bank to get real money, the bank didn't have any.
Well, the bank calls them on their loan. They don't have the money. They have to declare bankruptcy. They lose all their stock, etc. That's the way that works. It's just a different version every single time. It's the same story, though. Different characters, same plot. And that's where we're at right now. This cannot be normal to anybody. And it's not possible for every single person in the country and the world to be a stock expert. That's not the way it works. That's just it. And I look at this as when my brother sent this to me, I just laughed. I said, I didn't think it was going to be this bad. If you told me, Paul, a record month before would have been 40,000 new accounts, I'd have said, yeah, they probably did 100,000. 260,000. They've already had 3 months of over 100,000.
So what are people thinking? These 260 that signed up and...
They think, I'm bored. I can't do sports. Let me go do stocks. It's fun to watch the thing go up and up and up and up and up, right?
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. I have gold. I've had some gold miners. You see gold just hit a record yesterday. All time. I was buying gold at 1,200, and it went to 1,300, back to 1,150, back for the last 2 or 3 years. Now where's gold? 1950? It's awesome. Oh, sorry. Hold my calls.
That's the like button.
Yeah, hit the like button.
Hit the like button when you hear Paul's cell phone go off.
Well, then let me put it back on.
Okay.
Somebody text me. That's the issue that we always have, and that's the issue that will always exist. This will not end. There'll be a collapse, and 10, 15, 20 years from now, it'll be something else. Or it'll be stocks again in 30 years. It'll be something. It always happens. This happened in 1966. This happened in 2000. This happened in 2007. This happens all the time. The question is, which side do you want to be on? The boring side, like me, where you make money over long haul, or have fun like this? The hard part is being the disciplined guy to say, I don't care about this. I have no problem not caring about this. I don't even know, Seth, do you even look at me going, how is it possible he doesn't care about this? Or you just go, no, I know, Paul. I can tell he doesn't care.
Well, I've been learning. I mean, I was the sucker that you keep talking about. I told you some of my first investment advice from what I thought was a knowledgeable person was just buy stocks in things that you like. So I ended up with some Amazon, some Netflix, some Apple, all the stuff that I really liked. All of those actually worked out for me.
Yeah.
Netflix, which I just sold.
You made like 296% or something.
Yeah, 296% on Netflix, Apple 80, 90%. Amazon, I did really well in Tesla. I might have almost paid for my car with Tesla.
You know what the funny part is? When I see one of my stocks go up very quickly, I think to myself, oh shit, what am I missing? Like in a bad way. Like, okay, this shouldn't have happened this quickly. What's going on? Like, is this legit? And then I go look at my numbers again and say, nope, this is legit. This is fine. People are just now understanding the value. I started buying Carnival Cruise Line at 19. It's all the way down to 1375, and I'm just going to load up some more as it goes down and down and down. Now I bought a little bit at a time, trying to build up to a certain position, and I'm not anywhere close to there yet. But eventually I will be, and I'll hopefully have a good position at $10 to $13 a share on a company that I think is worth $40 to $60 a share.
Wouldn't you think that another economic collapse could really take down like the Carnivals, the airplanes?
I think Carnival Cruise Line will be the last cruise line to go down. And that's why I'm betting on it, because I don't think cruise lines are an industry that's going away. So I'm sitting there saying, cruise lines aren't going away. Okay, which one's the best cruise line? Carnival. It also happens to have the best balance sheet. That's the other thing. Southwest is a company I love. They're not the biggest, but they have the best balance sheet. And that's where I look at it going, okay, I'm willing to bet on Southwest.
So you're thinking, let's go back to this graph. You're thinking that all these new
Noobs
decide to throw some of their hard-earned money, which they didn't, I mean, a lot of people didn't have a lot in the past few months, into investing, and you're certain they're not doing it for all the right reasons.
I'm 100% positive they're not doing it for the right reasons. I bet my life on it. But you know what? They can make money in short term. I remember in college, there was a kid we went to school with. He was 3 or 4 years older than us. And I remember saying one day, I'm like, hey, why are you older than us? Like, why didn't you start college out of high school? He goes, oh, I went to enter the stock market. I go, you did? He's like, yeah, right out of high school, I went and became a day trader. I go, wow, how was that? He's like, well, I'm here now, aren't I? I said, man, it was pretty crazy times. He goes, Paul, I'm not exaggerating. We were pissed if we didn't make 300% in an IPO in one day. We were legitimately pissed. Like, he wasn't even joking. He goes, I'm not joking, saying, like, oh, man, that sucks. I thought we were going to. He's like, we were literally, like, slamming tables going, why the F didn't we make 300% on it? And he goes, and look what happened. I guarantee you, go to that guy today, he probably remembers those times. And he's probably not, because he got hurt bad. He went from, I'm going to make a lot of money in the stock market to, oh, shit, I got to go to college now. Right? Because he lost all that money. So hopefully he learned the lesson. I don't remember his name, but he was a nice guy. I remember just being like, why are you so much older than us? No, I haven't. I don't remember his name. We were only friends for like a semester because we were in the same class together and all that stuff. You know how that works.
So all this said, what can our viewers hear from you in terms of moving forward?
If you want to get in this game, I learned stocks back in the late 90s when it was the rah time. I made mistakes. Then I learned from those mistakes. When you have your mistakes, which you will, don't get discouraged. Come back. Listen to our channel more, watch some more stuff, learn how to buy real investments. It's more satisfying to buy an investment that you think you're right on, that everybody else thinks you're wrong on, and that one does exactly what you're thinking. That's way more satisfying than making 500%, trust me. For me, I'd rather buy a stock for 10 that I think is worth 30, it go to 30 in a year and a half, than buy a stock worth 10, I have no idea why it's going to 30, it goes to 30 in 2 months. I'd to me, because it's satisfaction of saying, I made an analysis, I looked at the numbers, I determined everybody was wrong because of this, and I went and made my bet, and I ended up being right. I'm excited about Carnival, because I do think I'm right on Carnival. Now, I'm not telling you out there to go out and buy Carnival. I'm willing to go make a small bet. When I say a small bet, guys, I'm putting like 0.5% of my money in Carnival.
0.5%.
0.5%. I might build it up to 1% if it goes further down.
Wow.
So I'm not doing a ton, because the market's in an awkward position right now. Now, if the market were half the price it's today, I might be building like 3 or 4% position in Carnival, maybe 5.
I see.
So I'm just being cautious. I'm putting my toe in. But if I'm right on Carnival before the market turns down, I'll make a lot of money. I'll make enough money to still be like, okay, cool. That 0.5% or 1% could become 4 or 5% of my portfolio. Not bad. So anyhow, just be cautious. Just remember, you're competing with all the... This is only E-Trade, by the way. We haven't talked about Schwab, TD Ameritrade, all these online brokerage houses, we haven't even talked about those ones. This is just E-Trade. I tell everybody to go to Schwab or TD Ameritrade. This is merely E-Trade. And I don't think E-Trade's the biggest online brokerage.
Wow.
I don't know who the number one brokerage is online. They very well could be the ones, but I don't think they are.
Comment below, smash that like button. Paul will personally answer some questions. And I guess this is building something fearful, Paul, when you see trends like this. So follow the Everything Money channel. Sorry, guys. Follow the Everything Money channel for more insight. Click around on all of our videos. And we thanks so much for you guys following us and liking us. Appreciate it.